Well, hello there, I'm Détroit. We're doodling, but digitally today. Not once, not twice, not even 3 times. Not 5 times either, but 4, which is a bit less impressive than 5, but that's okay, since there's no pressure today. Subscribe if you don't like having too much pressure on your shoulders. We're not after a complex piece, we're after a good time, doodling what comes to mind using only a basic black round brush with no size difference and no opacity change. It's the ballpoint pen of the digital world. Actually, no, you can do all sorts of opacity stuff with a ballpoint pen. It's way more versatile than people think. It's the fine liner pen of the digital world. That's better. Subscribe if you like fine liners. On today's menu, I can offer you a tiny soldier, an eldritch goat, a flying saucer with runny yolk, and a fish with no mouth but eyes for days. All of them made live on Twitch. What do you think of that? Not too bad, eh? Subscribe if you think that's not too bad. The idea for today is to doodle with this basic brush and then do some basic coloring. Nothing fancy, see it just like a mindless doodling session. Some automatic drawing, but this time digitally and with a bit of colors. Subscribe if you think I've overused this subscribe gimmick and it's lost its value as a comedic bit. And subscribe if you like comedy, by the way. Recently, I've been trying to recenter and reset my drawing style, or styles. I always change styles depending on my mood, especially in digital art, but it's not really a viable way to do this. I've drawn a lot of things in a large variety of art styles, only every time I've only just barely touched the surface before moving on. While that's fine by me in the moment because I easily get bored, this way I can't really build on what I make, capitalize from all these styles I learn. A lot of the styles rely heavily on the finishing touches, the detailing phase. Like, sure, I can use a gradient map at the end, or add a paper texture to the whole piece, or choose to color the line art instead of leaving it black. It will look good, but it doesn't fundamentally change the style of the piece as much as you think. And so, in a sense, I am now trying to do more when I switch art styles. I want to rebuild the style from the ground up. For example, that's switching up the process, or using a set of digital tools that I wasn't used to before. Like, looking at my Clip Studio brushes, I have this folder I use almost exclusively. It has like 100 tools in there, but I actually only ever use the first 8 or so of them. Like my custom inking brush, not the one I use today. But yeah, my custom inking brush, which I love the texture of and the feel it has. But it's always the same. I'm relying on it too heavily because now every inking I make will have that texture to give it some oomph. Some pieces, done with another ink brush, would be completely boring, I feel. And that's why I want to switch it up. Now, let me be clear, it doesn't mean making things more complicated. On the other hand, I think there's beauty in expressing things with the simplest tools possible. Just like it's every artist's first advice to beginners, you don't need fancy tools to start. Pick up a pen, a pencil, a $2 worth tube of paint, it doesn't matter. Use what you have and get more tools only when they become a need. And so I want to use more basic tools, restricting my tool belt in order to force myself to up my skill level. This, in turn, will theoretically give me a stronger base on which to build new art styles, or to study new art styles, rather. A great example of that is the works of Pete Morbacher. After following them for years and years, I can tell you that I know their way of working pretty well. And one of the only things that's worth mentioning in terms of tools is their use of gradient maps to do the color theory on which to make a cool standalone piece. The rest of their work is, as they describe it themselves, only doing like 10,000 little brushstrokes until it looks good. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. But yeah, the brushes are like nothing fancy, which is incredible. The simplest tools ever, and yet some of the most impressive art I've ever wanted to study. But studying something like that means abandoning the things I've come to rely on too much. And before I can do that really, I need to kinda train myself. Or detrain myself. Accept the new looks of things and so on. It's like lowering expectations in a way. I have come to certain expectations in terms of what my sketches should look like, or my inking, or my coloring. But now I need to shatter these expectations. While these 4 tiny doodles are just that, tiny doodles, Symbolically, they are kind of my first real attempt at letting go in a way. What's more, I made them live on Twitch, where I kinda have to let go because I can't stream for too long a time at once, and so if I want to finish something, it has to be kinda quick and free. You know, Twitch is kinda hard work. It takes a lot of focus, concentrating on drawing, but also talking at the same time and making sure to keep the corner of your eye on the chat in case somebody asks something. I'm only barely getting used to all these things and discovering new aspects of what it's like to stream for each occasion. By the way, Twitch streaming is also a good example of the whole thing about simple tools. I hadn't even finished my first stream that I was already thinking of how I would like to make an animation for when somebody decides to follow. Which could be you, by the way, twitch.tv/D3. I only have 11 followers as of now. Of course I don't need a custom animation for new followers. It's exactly like the guy who's into drawing since yesterday and decides he needs a set of Faber-Castell charcoal pencils. Dude, learn how to sketch with a HB mechanical pencil first and then you'll see. Anyway, that's art for you. Art is frustration, but also pleasure, and pain, and joy, and all the in-between. Art is fun, it's complex, sometimes illogical, and more importantly, it's a never-ending source of opportunity you can never grow tired of. I hope you enjoyed this video, and that you have a great day. If you have any questions, or even drawing requests, you can ask them in comments, or live on Twitch at twitch.tv/D3. Or maybe it will end up in a video, so subscribe just in case. I'll see you around. Keep drawing. Bye!